Hello guys, and today we got here another very awesome deck profile. We got here some kaijudles, which is a combo between the kaiju and the greydles. This deck isn't really going to be a thing for quite a while because greydles do not come out, not for a while. I'm not sure if it's the set after Clash of Rebellions or the set after that. So we will just have to wait for this deck to be a thing. But this deck definitely will be a thing because this will be a really good deck to play to beat Magi Spectres, which greydles have a really hard trouble playing against Magi Spectres, so I put in a lot of stuff to try and make that matchup better, because Magi Spectres cannot be targeted, so they can just go in and attack and do all their stuff, and they also have Tempest and that other trap card that vanishes, so they can easily get around the greydles. But the way this deck is supposed to play is it's supposed to tribute your opponent's monsters, so that way it gives you a face-up monster, so that way greydles are always live, and they're just really powerful level 7, level 8 beat sticks. So it helps out against the Magi Spectre matchup because now they can't use their back row because they don't have anything to tribute, and they can be, and now I can take a monster from them. So this is definitely a really good and really interesting deck. As you can tell by the extra deck, we have a variety of stuff here. So let me just go right in. We run 3 out of each of the kaiju, Dorgoin and Homunculus, the sticky thread. Okay, that doesn't sound like a good name, but okay. Dirty Minds, I'll just tell you that much. So this guy, you can remove 3 kaiju counters from the field spell, because that's the only thing that can have kaiju counters, to destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So it's a Rejeki. And then this guy, the sticky thread. You can remove 2 during either player's turn to when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, and it cannot attack and its effects are negated until the end of the next turn. And you can do that multiple times, but you can only have 5 counters on this, so you can only do it twice, pretty much. And that will be it for these guys. You can special summon them out. Both of these cards can be special summoned out if your opponent controls a kaiju, and you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters to special summon this card. And attack position. And attack position is really good. If it was in defense position, it would actually make the deck a little bit harder, because then you wouldn't be able to steal them right away. So now on for the greydles. We only run 1 slime because he doesn't steal a monster and he is level 5, so he can clog, and you only really need 1 because here, this is his effect. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, target 2 greydle cards you control, destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card. So you trigger out a Graydle Eagle's effect by using his effect, but if he's in your hand, you can use him. If he's in your grave, you can use him if you have 1 in grave, 1 in hand, or 2 in hand, or 2 in grave. It's just not necessary. I mean, if you're just playing pure Graydles, yeah, I could see running 3 slimes so that way you can see him, because he really lets you make your aggressive plays. Because your synchro summons are very important, and it's how you really make a lot of your big plays. And so Eagle and all the other Graydle monsters, Cobra and Alligator, they get their effects if they're destroyed by battle, but Alligator gets his effect if he's destroyed by a spell card. Cobra will get his effect if destroyed by a trap card, and Eagle will get his effect if destroyed by a monster effect. So just different things you can do to trigger those can be really good. Some people in a pure build will run Magic Planter, so that way they can get rid of the Oasis and the Call of the Haunteds to trigger Cobra's effect, which it's definitely a good idea, except with this combo build I had to take stuff out, so that way I had room for other things. And then we run Rejeki. I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't play this in greydles, because you don't really need it and you're getting rid of your opponent's monsters. So if your opponent doesn't have a monster out or doesn't have a face-up monster, at the very least, you can't really use greydles. So just be wary on that. It just gives them an opening. They can respond with a Rejeki or some other thing. 1 day apiece, because you will be attacking your monsters into your opponent's monsters, so 1 day apiece is really good just to make it so that way you don't take damage. 3 upstarts for consistency, 2 terraformings to search out a field spell, 2 Graydle impacts. Only need 2 because 3 would clog, most likely, because you can only use 1 of the effects and only once that turn. So there's no point in having, if you have both of them, it's just not decent. It's not the best thing in the world. But you can target 1 Graydle card you control and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. And so you can use that to trigger Alligator's effect, destroy back row, take an opponent monster. Or during your end phase, you can add a Graydle card from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1. Again, you can only use 1. So really good just to search out anything you need. You can also search out this trap card. So it gives you easier ways to search out slime, even though he's at 1. So that is really decent. And then the Kaiju. I cannot pronounce the seafront. Something seafront. Each time, this card, like, if you get this card, if you open up with this card, and it's the reason we're running 2 terraforming, I wouldn't be surprised if people ran 3 wouldn't be bad. Once you get this card, like, it makes the deck just so much more consistent. It doesn't matter. Like, especially if you have both of these cards, the deck just, the consistency, it's up. If you have 3 or more, you can only have 5 counters. If you have 3 or more, you can add 1 Kaiju monster from your deck to hand for no cost. It keeps the counters. If this card would be destroyed, you can remove a Kaiju counter from this card instead. So it's really easy at protecting itself, and it gets a Kaiju counter every time a card is sent from the field to the graveyard. So it's just like your upstarts, your terraformings, your greydles, of course, they will leave the field and come back again, and then leave the field eventually, hopefully at one point, because you do want to free up your back row for other combos. So Kaiju Seafront is definitely really easy to just get the counters on, and then you just sit there. Once you get to 5, you just sit there, and every turn just add a Kaiju to your hand, and it's just like for nothing. And then you just wait until your opponent places a monster, because once you have your Graydles and once you have Kaijus, your opponent pretty much can't summon anything, because if they summon something, you will take it, and if they set something, you attribute it, and then take the monster they attributed. So Kaiju Seafront is definitely really good in this deck. As you can tell, I am not running Remove Brainwashing in this deck because I don't feel it's really necessary. It would mess way too much with the Graydles. As a side deck thing for the mirror match, probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It will mess with the Graydles. So Remove Brainwashing wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to do. And then for our trap cards, Graydle Split is awesome because you can target any monster you control. It gains 500 attack, and then you can destroy it and special summon out 2 Graydle monsters. So if you want to clear up some of your back row, you have your opponent's monster or one of your Kaijus, and you want to go for an aggressive synchro play, this is a really easy way to summon out Graydle Slime and then another one of these guys, so that way you can then go for a level 8 synchro. And then we're running 2 Oasis of Dragon Soul, and just only 2. We should probably be running 3 of this and then 2 Gold Hunteds, because we do run Box here, which can be made if you have Graydle Slime and a other Graydle that is equipped with Oasis, because it makes it a Realm type. So that is something to note. Besides that, we also have 1 Skeleton to help out against the matchup against Magic Specters, because once this card gets flipped face up, they can be targeted, you can take them, you can do whatever you want with them. So it makes the matchup way better. And then we have 3 Call of the Hunted, just again to special summon them out. The one you want to use Oasis and Call the Hunted on is of course Cobra, but it doesn't hurt to just use them on these guys if you actually have to. Because Cobra, if they MST, you can flip it and special summon Cobra, and Cobra will get its effect, so that is really, really good. And then we also run 3 Wiretap just to get through that Tempest, and to make sure our plays go through, because Wiretap really gives you really good security in making sure your plays go through if you have it set on the field. Other cards could be ran would be Trap Stun. Trap Stun wouldn't be bad either. And so that is it for the main deck. Again, you're pretty much just using the Greydles to take your opponent's monsters, and if they don't have a face-up monster, you use the Kaijus and summon them out. They have great effects by themselves, a Rejeki and a Fiendish Chain, pretty much. Or actually, it's probably better called a loser turn. Definitely called a loser turn. But do note, your opponent, if you tribute this to your opponent's side of the field and you have this card out, your opponent can use its effect. While it wouldn't do anything to the Greydles, well, it would keep them from attacking. But if you have like Graydle Impact, it wouldn't be too hard. They can just waste your counters. So be careful of that. They'll try to get rid of your counters whenever possible, because you can remove them from counters from anywhere on the field, which makes the mirror match really interesting. And besides that, the one person, I was only one person, and it was a mirror match, and you guys will see this duel tomorrow, and we weren't sure 100% if I could take his Kaijus if I control a Kaiju, because one thing you can do is, if you control a Kaiju, you can still special summon them to your opponent's side of the field by tributing. And so the other player wasn't 100% positive if I could take the other Kaiju, because it says I can only control 1. But then I feel like I should be able to take the other Kaiju It's just that I can't summon out another kaiju. It's really weird. You'd have to deal with malefics, how malefics are ruled with that scenario. If you take control of your opponent's malefic while you control malefic, and does that work? Same thing would be with these guys. So if you are a judge out there, tell me what you think. Can I take control of a kaiju monster if I already control a kaiju monster? Because they do say you can only control one kaiju monster. So that will be it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we are running one Fusion Ice Vortex Dragon. This is just a tag that I threw in because I figured why not. This is definitely a card that you can make really easily, and if you have Graydle Split, you can destroy him or use him as a Utopia and detach an XYZ material. And then you can, once you destroy him, and you can special summon out a Vortex Dragon. Oh wait, you need to have a face-up annual monster in the extra deck. I'm an idiot, guys. I'm an idiot. I forgot about that. Oh well. I forgot about that. Wouldn't affect us. I thought it was just like negate anything. Oh well. Oh well. Story to is important. Story to you definitely have to run, because the thing with Story is, and I found this out when Snatch Steal was legal. If you can make them with 2 Greydles and then Greydle Slime, your opponent can take them. Your opponent can take him. So in the mirror match, if he gets equipped to a Graydle, your opponent can take him. Cool, that's fine. But if they attack with him, it goes back to your side. So your opponent cannot attack with Starter. If you make him, your opponent cannot attack with him, because it will just go to your side of the field and then come back to his side of the field once the damage step is over. So then once you take him again, then he stays. He stays for good, because then he's unaffected by both of them, and thus he stays on your side of the field, thus the attack goes through. So Stardew is just a really good monster just to make him, so that way he can't be Graydle. It just can't be Graydle. And then we have Red Dragon Archery and Scar Right. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner, so it's generic. This card names is Red Dragon Archery, while it's face up on the field once per turn, destroy as many special monsters on the field with attack less than or equal to this card's attack as possible. Inflict 500 for each monster destroyed, so it's just a great way to blow up the field and go for a game. And then we also run Hot Red Dragon Archery, because this will destroy all face-up attacking monsters, even those with more attack, but only doing main phase 1. 2 Graydle Dragons, you only really need 2. He will destroy 2 cards on the field, or the number of water monsters used for Synchro Summon. Most of the time this will be 2, 1 Graydle monster and 1 Graydle Slime. If this card is destroyed by Power Code Effect and send it to the graveyard, target 1 other water monster in the graveyard, special summon it. So you can do easy loops with Graydle Slime, because Slime can summon out Graydle Dragon from the graveyard, and so it's just going to be really stupid. And it can just float for days, pretty much. And yeah, target 1 other one. Yeah, that's the effects. Its effect is negated and the monster summoned out, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem unless you're running other stuff. Crimson Bladed. Control is control. The opponent cannot normal special level 5 or higher monsters during their next turn. You can use this against Magi Spectres to make it so they can't summon out their Unicorn. And then Psyframe Lord Omega. This guy can be very interesting. Can just make a game even more luck based. Because once per turn during either player's main phase, you can banish both this face-up card on the field and 1 random card from your opponent's hand to your next standby phase. So pretty much you get rid of him and your opponent loses a card from their hand during their next turn, and you can keep on using this. So it's just a nice way to make your opponent go -1 pretty much. If you hit the right card, they can't really play, so that is something to note. And then Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon is very good, because again, if you destroy a Graydle Eagle by monster effects, it gets its effect to take a monster. So Graydle Scrap Dragon is definitely a great card to use just to take stuff. You can also destroy Call the Haunted to get a Cobra effect or Oasis. And so, just really nice, and sometimes you will have leftover Call the Haunted and Oasis that are just sitting there after a Synchro Summon or Fusion Summon. So Scrap Dragon, just really good way to hop random stuff. And then Boxia. You can bounce a card. Only 1 though. Yeah. When this target number of cards up to the difference, shuffle them in the deck. So that I wasn't sure if it was bounce to hand or shuffle into deck, but if you use Oasis and Graydle Slime, any other Graydle monsters that's equipped with this. You can make Boxia bounce 1 card and then destroy a card to special meld level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard. So you can use it to get a Graydle ego effect, but still special summon out another Graydle. So just stupid combos you can do with Boxia, so I figured why not run them. Divine Dragon Knight, Felgrand. Just 2 level 8s, unaffected by stuff, so just really great. Good against Magi Spectres being unaffected by everything. I guess the unnecessary Absolute Dragon. Can't believe I forgot about that, guys. I thought it was just negate. I once pretend negation, and I didn't realize it had to be a monster effect. But if you decide to run a Pendulums, if somehow you can put Pendulums in this deck, it is possible to make this good. Red Dragon, Red Eyes Flare Meadow, Red Dragon. No, Red Eyes Flare Meadow Dragon definitely should be running this card. It's generic, and your opponent just takes 500 damage every time they use a card. Great way to go for game. It's a great way to go to game when they get low life. I mean, granted, you will have to use 2 of these guys, which do have some really good effects. Just being able to negate 2 effects and keep 2 monsters from attacking is really good. But if you feel it would be better to make a Flare Metal Dragon and one you're facing a big combo deck like maybe Necros or something, this would be definitely a great card to make. And then we run Dracosack and the Big Eye. It's almost like, why are we running Big Eye in this deck? Just like, it's just there because it's, why not? You took all their monsters and now you XZ them and into a Big Eye to take their monsters. It's just the salt, it's the salt. And Dracosack is Dracosack. No questions need to be asked about him. And that will be it for the deck. I mean, besides finding a new rank 7 and something else, maybe another level rank 8, this deck is very interesting, very powerful, especially once more Kaijus get released, because probably once we get the Graydles, there will be even more Kaijus in the game, so who knows what this deck will be like once it comes out. Can't wait. I don't know if I'm went to sneak peek this weekend. I do not know if I went there, but I do know I have a booster box at Clash of Rebellions coming, and so hopefully I pull some good cards from that booster box, but I've never really pulled well from anything. But I did pull a Valkyries once, so I got that for going for me. But it wasn't the big card. At the time I pulled Valkyries, I had a Brio was more expensive. So I've never pulled the big card. I don't even know what the big card of Clash of Rebellions is gonna be. We will just have to wait. No clue what rarity this is. It could be Ghost Rare for all I know, or it could be common. I prefer common, so that way I can pull it. So yeah, tell me guys what you guys think of this deck, and tell me guys if there's anything else. Do you think Graydles are gonna be a big thing? I think they're very stupid by themselves. And everybody's going to be running just like 1 or 2 probably Graydles, because why not? Why not run it to take an opponent's monster when necessary? Graydles, they're just stupid, because you do nothing and you win, pretty much. Like, I've done more with this build than I did with the pure build, because there's more plays and more combos that can be done, but Graydle, or just Graydles in general, you do nothing, you set your cards and you let your opponent play, and then you take their monsters when they attack. And if they make something that you can't take, you Fiendish Chain or Skill Drain it. So that way you can't take it. So, really stupid deck. Besides that, other stuff that could be put in this deck. For pure Graydles, lose a turn wouldn't be bad. It would shut down the extra deck pretty hard, but it still would be a thing to play if you wanted to run just pure Graydles. So, again, tell me guys what you think of this deck, and don't forget to stay tuned for tomorrow's duels with this deck. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.